All right, welcome to another speaking practice video. And Miss Tuyen here is doing his regular speaking practice. So let's start with part one. And let's go to the topic of um 109. This is pets. So, Mr. Tuyen, do you have any pets?
I don't have one now, but
I mean, you used
back
to.
when I was a child, we used to have a small cat.
Oh,
So yeah, he was a very cute white cat. He's very smart,
okay, let's not use the
but
word cute because the word cute, I don't think it should be there. I think you should use the word adorable.
adorable. Yeah.
Dễ thương quá. So don't use the word cute, I think. Just use the word adorable, I think.
Okay.
So what are the most popular pets in your country?
I would say dogs. Because dogs can not only be a pet, but but they can also be guardians. Like they watch your house, and they could guard chickens. So that's probably why they are the more popular ones than cats.
Hmm. You mean there's a lot of different types of cats as well. Now, so what kind of pets do you want to have in the future?
I haven't thought about it, to be honest.
Hmm.
But if I do, I would say that I prefer a dog. It's simply because they are less destructive in my opinion. Like cats, they can scratch just furniture. They
Oh,
can,
really? You think dogs are
yes.
less destructive? Really?
That's just my opinion.
Well, I used to have dogs and
Uh,
cats. I mean, everyone, don't worry, everyone is entitled to their opinions, mỗi người đều có cái entitled với cái nhận định cá nhân của họ. Everyone is
Mm.
entitled to their opinions anyway. Now, so is there any kind of animal that is banned as a pet in your country? Động vật bị cấm.
Oh, like from a legal perspective, I'm not
Yes,
really sure,
like
but
rhino, for example.
oh yeah, yeah, that's for
Rhino,
sure.
tiger, lion, or elephant even. I think no, elephant is a lot of elephant in Tây Nguyên province, I think. But
Mm,
rhino, tiger, lions, mostly endangered animals, right?
yeah,
Okay, can you answer that question?
yeah. So in my country, I think endangered animals almost certainly banned as a pet because the government want to protect them, and
Mm,
also because of the danger that it may brings to the owner. For example,
mm.
like a tiger or a lion, you cannot predict their behavior, and they may even, turn back and eat you
Yeah,
or
so
hurt you. Yeah,
they can certainly do so. It's within their power.
yeah.
And also the problem is, I think, because those are protected, they are protected by the law because they're endangered animals, and
Hmm.
they can cause a lot of danger if they are released, if they're released on the street.
Hmm.
You don't want to see a tiger or a lion or a rhino on the street.
Yeah, sure.
Now, so are you allowed to bring pets on the plane in your country?
Uh, Honestly, I don't know, but I guess that yes, you're allowed to, but it would require some kind of special permit. For example, if you
Permits.
are
You mean special
yeah,
permits?
for example, if you are like you have like a service dog that you need to travel with you, then you can bring it on a plane. Yeah, but other than that, I think like pets they have like a separate cargo for them. Yeah. So yeah, I think that it is allowed. Pets are allowed on plane.
Interesting. Okay, so
Honestly, this subject, I haven't thought about it. Like I didn't
yeah,
even know, and most
I
of the
don't think
questions.
so because I think there's some special services that helps you bring pets on
Okay,
the
okay,
plane, but I have never seen pets on the plane ever. Seriously. You
okay.
ever volunteered at an animal shelter?
Uh,
Animal shelter,
wait,
other
wait,
places,
like,
they rescue
like
those
John, I
animals.
have a question though. If the question like this come up and you don't have any like volunteering experience, you
You can
still
just say
just say,
no. You can just say no.
oh, okay, yeah, we can say no,
Remember,
right?
okay, yeah, but
Yeah,
remember the IELTS exam tests your ability to respond. They do not ask for your knowledge that much, you know. Cái cách mình hồi
okay.
đáp lại nó là cái mà cái kỳ thi IELTS này đang nhắm tới mà. Tức là mình hoàn toàn có thể nói no, nhưng mà tại sao tôi không volunteer hay gì đó. You can say that why I didn't volunteer for anything, something like that. Whatever way you answer, just answer, okay? Chỉ cần trả lời thôi, không cần biết mình trả lời
I
như thế
see, I
nào,
see.
theo hướng
Okay,
như thế
I see.
nào nha. Okay,
Okay, I
let's
see.
try it. Have you ever volunteered at an animal shelter?
No, I've never done it before. It's just not something that I ever thought about. But I would love to someday because the situation with animals right now. There's a lot of maltreatment towards animals. So yeah, I would like to do it someday. Just try to help them a little bit.
I see. Volunteering at an animal shelter, you can take care of a lot of stray animals. You can take
Yeah.
care of a lot of stray animals. Động vật đi hoang, động vật bỏ hoang, bị bỏ hoang. Stray animals. And of course, you can have a chance to learn many skills by taking care of animals. Học được rất nhiều tính kiên nhẫn, học được sự chăm sóc, học được tình thương, học được wow, I mean a lot of skills. So I would highly recommend people to bring their kids to animal shelter. Mhm. Now, so how do you feel about people who treat their pets like family members? Like they sleep with them, they hug their pets, they eat and live with their pets, just like their own kids, their own family members, their own children. How do you feel about that?
Um, for me, I've never developed this kind of, like close relationship with pets like that. So I kind of not sure about they're doing so. So it's for me it's a bit unsanitizing because pets they do have like a infectious disease, and if you are in very close contact to them, you can get some, for example, like the parasites, worm or germs, and especially when they like just licks their genital parts, and then they gonna lick your face. Just it's kind of like transmissible. That's I feel like it's okay to be close, but to a certain level. It shouldn't be like just too close.
Hmm. Well, I actually live and eat and sleep together with my cats. They are like my kids. They're like my
Okay.
children.
Yeah.
And they love me unconditionally. Một tình yêu không điều
Hmm.
kiện. Of course they love me unconditionally. I know that.
Yeah.
Well, I feel fine. I feel fine. I have no problem. And my house is clean very often. My robots just run around in the home for me.
Okay. But no, that's when I mean like that thought is mainly for dogs because I feel like dogs are a little bit more dirtier than
They
cats, right?
are dirtier.
Yeah. Like
I'm not
they
gonna joke about it. They are dirtier than cats, trust me.
Yeah, they would eat the trash. They would,
Ugh.
lick the balls, and then minutes later they would lick your face. I just feel like that is a little bit dirty.
Ah, yeah.
Not very, yeah.
I get what you mean. Now, so let's go to part two now. Okay, part two. Let's try a more recent topic. I'll put it all the way here. You can see the most recent topic here. Um,
Okay.
let's try 166. Describe a way or a change that helps you save a lot of time. Một cái cách hay một thay đổi mà nó giúp mình tiết kiệm rất là nhiều thời gian. You should say what it is, how you implement it, làm thế nào mình đưa nó vào sử dụng. Adopt it, implement it, adopt it. How difficult it is. Explain how you feel about the way or the change. And of course, this part three is about changes or an innovation. Cái part three nó nói về cái sự đổi mới nào đó, sự thay đổi nào đó. What can people do to save time?
Okay.
This is a very vague question, một câu hỏi rất siêu mà là mông lung luôn á. Có người ta có thể làm gì để tiết kiệm thời gian? Well, it depends on
Okay.
what kind of people you're talking about, I think. So there are many ways to answer this question. It depends on what their jobs are, what they like to work with. Now,
John, let's
for
let's
example, I can save a lot of time because I bought a dishwasher, for example.
John, let me try to do it like
Of
as
course, of
a
course.
real exam edition, and then we can discuss this later.
Yeah, sure. Would you like to read this one?
Okay. All right.
Is there another question here? No, there's nothing else. Okay, please read it and then we'll start.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you some time to think. Okay, please describe a way or a change that helps you to save a lot of time.
Yeah, recently I've just discovered a way to help me
Recently.
save, yeah, save a lot of time. So it was the use of a timer. It sounds very simple,
A
but it's
timer?
basically yes, so you set up a timer that runs, for example, 30 minutes. So during your 30 minutes, you are supposed to fully concentrate on the work that you do, and then you can rest for 5 minutes afterward, and then for 30 minutes, you repeat that again.
Okay.
So yeah, so I implement that in my works, in my study mainly, and it's pretty like I thought that it would be quite hard to do it, but it turned out to be actually very easy and simple. And I think the hardest part is to keep it consistent. Try to do it every day is hard because sometimes it's hard to change the habit, right?
Of course, a
And
bad habit is hard to change.
yeah, yeah, I actually feel amazing because I save a lot of time, and then I my productivity just go way up, and I feel like much more accomplished in a day compared to before. And I have free time to do things that I want to, like, watching Netflix, playing video games. So yeah,
Okay, it's good enough because part two is only like 2 minutes. It's good enough,
oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
think.
okay.
Um, yeah, this question you need to only use like present simple tense, no problem. Okay, so
Okay.
let's go to part three now. So what can people do to save time?
Yeah, so there's a lot of way to do it, like I mentioned earlier. So you can implement some kind of technique to help you increase productivity,
Hmm,
and by increased productivity, then you spend less time doing the same task, and yeah, you can actually save time doing so.
I
So
see.
yeah.
Remember, this is part three. So what
Oh,
is
so
okay? So
develop.
let's just try to split into two different or three different cases. Like it depends on say what kind of people, what their age group, and what they are so used to, and if they are
Okay.
open-minded to learn other ways to save time, something like that.
Okay. 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 So it's actually depends on you know the the demographics. So for example, if like the children when they study, so they should use some kind of technique that will improve their concentration into the study, so they will spend less time studying, therefore saving a lot of time. However, for like working people like us, we have like 8 hours a day to work, and I think like we can save time by uh using any type of like transportation that doesn't stuck in traffic. For example, using train or something like that. And also increase the productivity at work is also another thing. But still, you have to stay like at work for 8 hours, so that might not be feasible for some people.
You know what? If you do save time by being working more productively, people will give you more work to do, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like you have to stay like the whole 8 hours anyway. So
Mhm.
even if you finish work early, it doesn't mean that you save the time.
No, it doesn't. Well, so does technology help people save time? How and why? What do you think?
I would say it does and it doesn't.
Mm,
It doesn't because technology like smartphone is a form of distraction,
mm.
and you can get very easily distracted from whatever you're
You
doing, and then
mean
you
very
just
easily
spend,
distracted, right? Very easily
yeah,
distracted by.
distracted by your smartphone, and then an hour later you just realize that you just waste 4 hour of just scrolling down on Facebook,
Yes,
and now
exactly.
you yeah. But however, technology can like reminders on your phone that it can help you keep track of time, and you can
Mm,
keep track of things, and therefore it could help you improve your work and save time.
I
Yeah.
agree with that. Now, you have AI, artificial intelligence these days. It helps people save time. You can talk about that, but
Yeah.
also there's a
Sure.
lot of drawbacks too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a
So
way, you mentioned that it doesn't save time, but why? Can you elaborate? Can you talk about it?
because it's a form of distraction, so people wasting a lot of time on their phone, so that's not saving time, isn't it?
I agree with
Yeah.
that. So, do people who can manage time well, those people, do they become successful more easily?
Yeah, it definitely favors them more. Yeah, like if you can manage time well, you get more things done.
Mm,
So imagine like just like building a house, if you can build it faster and more effectively, then you become more successful. Yeah,
mhm.
definitely.
I say, but don't you think that if you manage your time well, sometimes it doesn't guarantee success? What do you think about that?
That is true. So time is just one condition.
Mm.
So you have to have other factor
There
to
are
help
other
you.
factors, but it's
Yeah,
not, how can I say, decisive factors, right? It's just
yeah. It's
only
not a
one
decision.
of the conditions.
Yeah.
I say. Now, is it necessary for children? Necessary, I'm going down. Necessary. Is it necessary for children to learn time management?
It depends on the age group too. I would say when like before like the preschool age, they probably don't
Mm.
need that for
You
now.
mean kindergarten?
Yeah, kindergarten. But
Mm.
once they get into the academic environments, like going to school,
Oh,
that's when they should start to learn time management, because
mm.
they need to get their homework done. They need to hanging out with friends, and they have time to develop other hobbies or things like that.
Mm.
So yeah, so they need to balance it out. So in a form that is a way of time management, and we
I
should teach
see.
them early. Yeah.
Right. So let's try to turn around the situation a little bit, turn the table, lật bàn lại. Bây giờ lật ngược vấn đề lại. Lật cái
Mhm.
bàn, turn the table a bit. What would happen if children do not learn time management, let's say before they reach the age of, let's say, 12 or 13 or something like that? What would happen
Yeah.
if they do not manage time well on their own?
Yeah. So it could lead to a lot of, I would say, difficulty in learning. For example, they fail to complete homework before class, they didn't do well on the exam because they didn't allocate enough time to prepare for it. Uh, because like kids do, they spend more time playing video games than studying. So time management, if they lack the time management skill, that would happen.
Mm. And of course, if they have terrible time management, it could
Yeah.
disturb the study, disturb the other activities, and also other people will think of them as being unreliable.
Hmm.
And if the other people think that they're unreliable, they will not give them jobs, which is bad,
Yeah. Yeah.
very bad in general. Now, so do you think parents should be responsible for teaching children to save time? So
I
who's
think yes.
responsible here? Is the school or the parents or anyone else? Now the question here is, should parents be responsible for teaching children to save time? Or the
Um,
responsibility falls on other people, you know?
I would say that in any situation, parents should be responsible
Hmm.
for their children's development. So either it is going to be like teaching them to save time. So for example, in school, they can teach you how to save time, how to manage time in an exam situation, in a study environment. But at home, then parents should teach them how to balance between, uh, playing video games and studying or like doing exercise. So yeah, in a way, parents should be responsible for teaching children to save time. Yeah.
I see. So you are right about the parents, but let's talk about school. So what can schools do to help students learn time management? Let's talk about what they can do. Give them lots of homework, maybe. You know,
I would say that I no, I would not say that because a lot of homework, like a lot of anything can never be like a good thing. So a lot of homework might be like counterproductive. It could maybe just stress out the student even more, and to a point where they don't even want to read to touch the homework. But yes, in school, like instead of doing that, the school I think the school system is doing a great job at teaching kids to manage their time
children,
because
let's do the word
it's
children, okay? Đừng dùng chữ kids nha, dùng chữ
oh
children đi.
yeah,
Children.
children. So because they have like materials or like subjects that had to be taught in like a certain amount of time, and exam that has to be done in a certain amount of time. So by just keeping doing so, like children knows the importance of time,
Mm,
manage their time to finish the task. Yeah.
I say, um, right. But the question focus on the solution or the methods they should do. I think you should expand that. Mình nên mở
Okay.
rộng ra những cái phương pháp mà trường có thể làm.
Okay. So for example, they can let's say in a subject, let's say math, they give the student like three exam question, and they will ask the student to complete it in 30 minutes, for example. And of course, like a smart student, they would like allocate the equal amount of time, or like it depends on the difficulty of
Ừ.
each question. So they would learn how to like allocate less time for the easier question and more time for more difficult ones.
I
So
see.
that is one way that they can teach children time management, to time manage time.
I see. Let's move on to a new topic now. So that's 166. Hmm. Okay, this let's see. The very end already. 166.
Okay.
Try 165. Describe a time you use your cell phone or smartphone to do something important.
Okay.
You should say what happened when it happened. So be careful. Past tense with the verbs and pronunciation of those verbs are important too, How important the cell phone or smartphone was. Explain how you felt about the experience.
Okay.
So part three is about calling others or cell phone. I think
Okay.
it's better. Okay, but you should read it.
That's okay.
Just remember that in the real exam, they will not spoon feed you ideas like what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is to help you improve your answer. But in the exam, you have to answer a long one, okay?
Okay. So do I just keep like continuing like
Because
the answer?
if you do not answer a long question, I mean a long answer, they will keep asking you until like you run out ideas and things like that.
So,
They need
what
they
is the
need like
smarter way?
okay,
Like
they are looking for the way you implement your idea, the way you expand your ideas, give examples, and your logic. So that's why they need a long answer to do that.
okay.
If your answer is too short, it's almost impossible for them to try to test your skill to kind of expand your idea and such. So that's why I
So,
suggest try to speak a lot.
but like if I speak a lot and I going off topic, are they gonna like stop
Well,
me
that's
and then
bad as well. That's also bad too. But they will not
okay.
stop you. They will not stop you. They will let you just make mistakes. you know.
Okay. So we have to stop ourselves and so for example, if they feel like I've been answering for too long, like
Mm.
are they gonna stop me or
Well,
no?
they won't stop you unless they're out of time for you.
Okay. Okay. I see.
Because remember, there's a lot of people taking exams. So they cannot spend the whole day with you.
Hmm.
That's why, okay, just answer a lot and then until the point they say, stop. Okay, that's enough. Okay, then that's good because they have heard enough to give you a grade.
Hmm. Okay.
Họ đã cho bạn đủ số điểm rồi, họ đã có nghe đủ rồi, không cần phải nói thêm nữa. When they stop you, it doesn't affect your grade, okay? Remember that. Don't worry about that, okay?
Okay.
They have heard enough to give you a grade. But if your answer is too short, they will keep asking lots and lots of questions and they hate it.
I see.
The examiners, they don't get paid that much money.
Hmm.
Anyway, you need time to prepare for this one?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, if you want to. Describe a time you use your smartphone or cell phone to do something important, please.
Yeah, so one event that came to my mind was it was like 5 years ago. I used my phone to answer a very important email. I just got accepted to my current university, and it was like a very time sensitive email.
Wow.
And because I couldn't get access to my computer, which I usually uh, use to answer all my work email, so I have to use my phone, and I never used it before. Like so, I opened the app.
Wow.
It was it was very hard at first, but then I tried to type everything into the email and I sent it.
Mm.
And after that, I realized that wow, like smartphone could be like in some situations could be like life saving, in a way. Can you move up a little bit, John?
Oh
I
yeah, sure,
I need
sure.
to.
Basically, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So let's say like that day without the smartphone, I wouldn't be able to answer that email. then I probably would not be accepted to my current university. So it was pretty important. So I I after that I felt like smartphone can help me a lot, and I feel like kind of grateful to it, like this invention, like, and we are at a point where we can do pretty much everything from our smartphone now. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, are you timing, John? Because I think I have like
I
two
think
minutes.
I
So
think
should I keep
that's like
talking?
3 minutes. I think that's like 3 minutes already.
Oh shoot.
Remember, if you exceed that, they will stop you and move on to part three immediately. But that doesn't mean that you get a lower grade, okay? Không ảnh hưởng đến điểm nha.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
speak and speak and speak. Don't worry about the time that much. Now,
Okay.
so what do people usually do with a cell phone? Part three.
Oh, there's a lot of things that people can do
There
with
are
a cell phone.
there are
Yeah.
like, yeah.
There are tons of things that people can do with their cell phone nowadays. But I think like right now the most popular application is probably TikTok and Facebook. And
Oh,
honestly, I
the
use that too.
abomination. Such abomination.
Yeah, so
Well, I have a
I
very low opinion of TikTok, to be honest with you, but by now,
yeah.
lots of my viewers in my on my videos should know that. You know.
Okay.
Anyway, please continue now. Don't let me stop you.
Yeah, so I was talking about TikTok, and yeah, so like in short, they use it mostly for entertainment nowadays. And but it depends also on the people. Like some very highly functioning, highly productive people, they use it for work mostly, you know. Like a stockbroker, they would use it to just to see how the price of a stock going up and down, or they use it to answer emails, they use it to contact the clients. So yeah, there can be a lot of way to use it too. Like, and I've even seen like there's a trend nowadays that people using it to play mobile games. That's what I call.
Mobile game, right?
Uh,
I
oh,
say.
mobile games.
You
Yeah.
can say mobile game,
And
no problem.
okay. And and yeah, there's even tournaments around like people playing mobile games.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Competition, right?
yeah, competition. Yeah.
How about using mobile phone for studying, you know?
Hmm.
Have you
So
seen
that's
people
also
doing that?
good. I honestly, I think it's yes, but it's still a variant. You know, like for example, instead of going to the class, they use the Zoom app to
Hmm.
connect to the classroom online, so they can use it to study. Some people can download the dictionary app to help them to learn vocabulary. Um, some people can use it to, you know, go to the online question bank to answer the question and prepare for the exam. But honestly, myself, I've done that plenty of time before. Yeah.
I see.
So yeah,
Hmm.
it's pretty useful.
So yeah, that's a good answer, but try to expand into different aspects of a phone, like education, entertainment. For people use the phone to show off their life as well, for the business, and
Mhm.
also they just use it to kill time. Also, now, what are the differences between young people and old people when using cell phone? Think about like the amount of time they spend on it, what they usually do on it. Think about the
Mhm.
apps they use, the
Mhm.
purposes, something like that.
Yeah. So, for example, like, okay, so the main difference between young people and old people is when it comes to cell phone is that the old people they use it mainly for call and text messages, while the young people use it for plenty of other reasons. And I feel like the young people they are on their phone a lot more than old people. Um, and I feel like the elderlies, they just use it when they need it. I don't know, probably because they don't know how to use it, or and I feel like it's like too much of a learning curve for them.
Oh, a learning curve. Very good. It's too much of a
Yeah,
learning curve for them.
and
Very good. Now, well, so you mean the old people, they just refuse to learn more because it's too much of a hassle for them, you know?
yeah, exactly.
Too much of a hassle to learn for them, I think. Is it hassle with L-E or L or E-L? Too much of a hassle, I think.
Yeah,
It's a noun, I think. Yeah, right. Too much of a hassle to learn for
yeah,
them. That's why they refuse. How about screen time? Do you think the young people spend more screen time than the old people? Thời gian
yeah.
dành trên màn hình is called
Yes,
screen time.
yeah, most certainly because they know how to use the phone to the fullest potential, and there's a lot of like addicting application on the phone too. Like I said before, like TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, they can spend like hours and hours just by looking at the screen, and it can have some very serious consequences. For example, when they spend that much, they get addicted, right? So they cannot get any other things done, like the homework, the study, or even just like going outside. And then like some people, they just when they standing, they just keep looking down at their phone. That's gonna affect their post posture for like for the future too. So it can be it can be pretty bad.
Of course, it can be pretty bad. Now, so is it too late to call orders at 11 or 12 o'clock at night? What do you think?
It depends on the level of relationship though. I have if you have like your closest friends, I feel like you can call them like any hours of the day. But if it's like just your colleagues, just someone I wouldn't do that. It's more depending on the how to say the relationship between you and that person. Yeah, it all boils down to that. Because and it also depends on the type of work that a person do. For example, if they work at night, then I would say calling them around 11, 12 o'clock at night wouldn't be a problem. But if they work during the day and at night they have to rest, well then let them rest. But however, if it's an emergency, for example, if they're, let's say, like their loved one gets into an accident or something like that, and they have to be at the
You
hospital.
mean in case of an emergency, yeah?
Yes, in case of an emergency, yeah, definitely reasonable to call them despite the hour.
Oh, well, of course. Now, but generally speaking, I think it just text them. I'll just text them at 11 or 12. That wouldn't be a problem. But I think it depends also on their age group. The young people often sleep very late, you know? So it wouldn't be a
Yeah,
problem if you call them at like 12 or 11, right?
yeah.
And it also depends on if you know their habits, if you know their routine. Like they often
Mhm.
say they often sleep late or go out, hang out with a friend, something like that, then it's
That's
certainly
true.
okay to make a call at that hour. You know, that hour is called the O hours. Cái giờ
Oh,
cú
yeah.
vọ,
Oh.
the O hour, because by that hour, like the O, you know, they always appear in the middle of forest, you know.
Hmm.
Cái giờ cú
Oh.
vọ, the O hour. Oh well. Now, which one is more important then? Using a cell phone to make phone calls or to read messages? What do you think?
It also depends on the situation too. I think in general it is more important to read messages because that's like the main way people communicate nowadays. I feel like people use like only call when it is something like uh it is in case of emergency that mostly that people call. If not, then usually we just send a text message. And just and yeah, I mean, like read a text message will take longer than making a phone call, and it doesn't feel like as directed, but I still think that it's more important because it just happened more frequently than the phone calls.
Hmm. Well, it depends on the occasion, of course, and it depends on the purpose of the phone. Like
Hmm.
in emergency cases, of course, you could make phone calls. But most of the
Yeah.
cases, I would prefer to read messages. But some people these days, they prefer to make video calls, and I don't
Yeah.
understand that. I don't understand that because it's so
I-
annoying if suddenly they just call.
Yeah. Like I
Wow,
mean, like if your loved one, like father, mother, or like brother, that's okay. But if just friend, well, or not even close friend, then shouldn't do that. It just feel like very invasive.
very
Like
invasive, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Imagine if you're in the middle of a lecture or in the middle of a work, and then suddenly they want to make a call. That's really invasive
yeah,
and disrespectful, I would say. And then people would say, "What would happen if I have an emergency? I cannot reach you." People's like that always. Terrible.
mm.
Anyway, so what can be done to stop cell phone addiction? It's a huge problem in around the world now. With TikTok, oh my God. And with other things, it can cause a serious cell phone addiction. So
Yeah.
what can be done? They're asking for solution. Try to give at least like two or three solution, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I must admit that this addiction to cell phone is like a huge problem right now. Like even I myself struggle with that like some
Oh,
days. And yeah, one of the thing that to be honest, just get rid of the app that you're addicted to, like at a
oh,
personal
easier said than
level.
done.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Like YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, that
Easier
that
said
that would
than
be like
done.
it is, yeah, it's true. It easier said than done, but I think it is the most effective way. But you know,
It's easier
and
said than done.
yeah,
And then you will reinstall those apps because you need to contact people. It's always like that.
exactly. It's like a very vicious cycle.
Of course, it's a truly vicious cycle. Một cái vòng tròn hiểm ác. Wow, it's a vicious cycle. Now, so let's talk about solution for that. Beside from like deleting the
Yeah,
apps that make you addicted to,
yeah.
is there
So I
any
think,
more solution?
yeah. So another solution is to um educate people on the
Mm,
on the harmful consequences of cell phone addiction. I
mm.
think like people are not well aware of that. Like if you ask somebody about like the consequence of smoking, well, the first answer is cancer, but like what is the consequence of cell phone addiction? Not a lot of people can answer that question.
It's
So
brain rot.
yeah, so
It's brain
true.
rot.
Right.
Well, it's a new term, but I think it
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be accepted in the exam. Cái sự thui
Okay.
não,
Okay.
cái sự thui
Yeah.
não, brain rot caused by a lot of content on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah, so one of the consequences is brain rot. So it's basically mean that your mind is conditioned to just watch stuff like over and over again
Don't use the
without
word stuff,
thinking.
nên
So
dùng chữ stuff nha, cho mày else. Cái chữ
okay.
stuff á, nó như là một cái từ mà cái thứ này thứ kia, nó không có trịnh trọng và nó cũng chẳng có chính xác nữa. The word stuff
Yeah.
is not formal, and
Okay.
also it's very vague, and it can be intrusive. It can make some people feel angry if you use the word stuff.
Hmm.
So let's just say, let's talk about solution again. What can be
Yeah,
done
so
to stop that?
what is it was about education. So I finished that, and So another solution is gonna it's gonna come from the governmental level. So you make regulation about that. So for
Hmm.
example, like company like TikTok, they should like in the application itself, it should be banned from like a certain country. For example, if in the state, like it should be banned or like at least restricted to a certain age.
Hmm.
For example, like people over 18 can use TikTok, but any children under that shouldn't be using TikTok.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's another way. Um, yeah, I think three solution for now. I
Three,
couldn't think
right? You said three.
three. Yeah,
Haranya. Three.
three,
Three
three.
solutions. Yeah. Okay. So should there be a law to stop people from making phone calls in public? Because making phone calls in public can disrupt, what's it called? It can disrupt public harmony. Nó gọi là làm
Mhm.
mất trật tự xã hội á. It can disrupt public
Yeah.
harmony, especially if people talk very loudly in public. Should there be a law
Yeah.
to stop that from happening?
No, I think a law is a bit extreme. I
Hmm.
don't think we should like have a law to stop people from doing that.
Hmm.
But we should have some kind of like at least teach people or like just remind people that doing so is very inappropriate. It
Hmm.
and so that people can stay away from doing such thing. And but if you stop some people from making phone calls in public by implementing or like inventing a new law, it
Hmm.
feel very like a like a a breach of people's rights. People so you're talking to people in on the phone. It's just the same if you're talking that with them in person. So it's maybe they can talk loud, they can could talk quietly, but it's still in their right to do so.
Hmm.
You
I
should,
see.
yeah,
But still within their right. It's one of the right of expression, I would say. Một trong những
yeah,
cái quyền biểu đạt của con người sao á.
yeah,
Think it's part of their rights of expression.
yeah.
Quyền biểu đạt của
Expression.
con người. Quyền biểu đạt của con người ra. Yes.
Mhm.
And you have the right to say, speak your mind, something like that.
Mhm. Makes sense.
Now, so a law is a bit too much, right?
Yeah.
I would agree. Okay, let's end it here. I feel like your part three is a bit too short. That's
Okay.
why I have to spoon feed you a lot of ideas, in order to improve it.
Okay.
So maybe at home you should re-answer these questions. Maybe try to sit in front of a mirror and do that.
So do you have
Maybe
like a for like like the number of answer like or sentence or idea that I
no, no,
should
no. There should not be like a limitation or something like that. As long as you let's say let's talk about a question, like for example, this question: what can be done to solve cell phone addiction? Okay, you mentioned solution one. You should mention like the consequence of that. Solution two, consequence of that. Solution three, consequence of that. And on the other hand, let's just say there are some exception, you know. So it's like a structure. You can think of your own structures, but just think about a lot of examples that would work. Cái cho thật nhiều cái
Mhm.
ví dụ vô, hoặc là cái structure ví dụ như là giải pháp một, giải pháp 2, giải pháp 3, xong rồi cái hậu quả của từng giải pháp đó, xong rồi cái là đâu phải cái nào cũng giống nhau gì đó, vân vân, lật ngược vấn đề lại.
Mhm. Okay.
Right, that's what I usually do. Okay,
Okay.
so when's the next lesson again? But let me just stop this one.